Hi there, and welcome to today's vlog. Now, it's strange, isn't it, that sometimes uh, you may be reading a book or a passage from the Bible or listening to someone giving a message, and something someone says, you hear it again or read it again in a very short time. And last Sunday, on three occasions, I heard someone talking, or different people in different contexts, talking about the what you do when you want to cross a road, and in particular, the stop, look, listen uh, advice that's given these days. I remember when I was a child, it was the curb drill that it was halt, look right, look left, look right again. If all's clear, quick march. And that's what we did. But apparently, sometimes later, somebody decided that was a bit complicated. So they changed it. So stop, look, listen, and then cross. And as I say, it's fascinating that three times I came across this in a very short period. And I want, and they, it was used in the context of Lent, this period that we're in now, in preparation for Easter. And I want to just briefly take up those elements, which I think are quite interesting and fit in well with the theme of Lent. So stop. There's one of my favourite psalms is Psalm 46, which really illustrates a time when everything is uncertain. There's shaking, there's earthquakes, there's everything's happening around, storms. And then in the midst of that, God says, "Be still and know that I am God." I was reading recently a passage in Mark's Gospel where Jesus and his disciples are inundated with people who need their help, constantly in demand, crowds following them. And Jesus says to the disciples, "Come away with me to a quiet place and get some rest." We need those times when we stop from the busyness and the activity of life. And maybe one of the positives out of lockdown is that for some, it's given the opportunity to take a break from some of the things that we're normally engaged in. In fact, in that Mark 6 passage, Jesus and the disciples get on a boat, go to somewhere they think is going to be quiet, but then the crowds arrive and Jesus has compassion on them, spends time with them, ministers to them. But then he sends the disciples off and he goes up on a hill by himself to pray. That stop time. We need to take time out to stop. And then secondly, look. Jesus said on one occasion in John 5, "I only do what I see the Father doing." So Jesus was always looking to see where the Father was where God the Father was at work, and he wanted to get involved. He had that awareness, that openness to what God is doing. There's a verse back in Isaiah, quite a well-known verse, Isaiah 43, where God says through Isaiah, "I am doing a new thing." Then he asks, "Do you not see it? Do you not perceive it?" I'm one of those people who can, well, I have done in the past, walk by someone I know well, a friend or family member, and not notice them because I'm so engrossed in getting from A to B. I'm not a fantastically observant person, but maybe we miss out sometimes. Maybe we don't see what God is doing. Maybe one of the challenges of Lent in one of my Lent devotions was to go out at night time and look up into the sky and see the stars. And although I read that, I didn't actually get around to doing it. So sometimes we need to, as well as stop, we need to look, or constantly we need to be trying to be aware of what God is doing or what God might be showing to us, to really look, to see sometimes beneath the surface of people's lives, to see their needs. Listen. Since my back got better, I've restarted my routine of going out at 5 in the morning and walking for an hour. And not only that, but I've also reconnected with the Bible in 1 year, Nicky Gumbel's Bible in 1 year, where you get a readings from the Old Testament, New Testament, and then Psalms or Proverbs, and Nicky Gumbel's comments on them. It's fantastic. So I take my phone with me, plug my earphones in, and for about half an hour of my hour's walk, I'm listening to the Bible in 1 year every day. I'm finding that fantastic. And then the second part of the hour, I put some Christian music on. So about listening. In fact, one of my ears is getting a bit blocked up with wax. I need to go and get something to loosen that. But are we listening to God? Are we listening to each other, or do we not really listen? Are we just pretending to listen, but we don't really hear? Are we hearing the needs of those around us, those who are close to us? Are we taking time to listen? Listening to someone is one of the greatest gifts that we can give to someone else. And interestingly, I mentioned that 3 times in a short time. Last weekend, I heard these 3 words used: stop, look, listen. But only one of the 3 went on to the 4th element, which was cross. So you come to the roadside, you stop, you look, you listen, and then you cross if it's clear. And if we miss the cross, we're missing something that is at the heart of our Christian faith, aren't we? Paul writes to the Corinthians, we preach Christ crucified, which doesn't make sense, does it, in one way? That we talk about the one who is at the centre of our faith, who died a criminal's death, was tortured on a cross. And yet that is at the centre of our faith. Our faith meets with its central element in a way at the cross. And there's that wonderful Isaac Watts hymn, when I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died. My richest gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. Forbid it, Lord, that I should boast, save in the death of Christ my God. All the vain things that charm me most, I sacrifice them to his blood. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. Did e'er such love and sorrow meet, or thorns compose so rich a crown? And then the crescendo in the final verse, were the whole realm of nature mine, that were an offering far too small, love so amazing, so divine, demands my soul, my life, my all. So as we journey through this Lent period, let's say, commit ourselves to stop, to look, to listen, and to focus our hearts at the foot of the cross, where we find forgiveness and new life. God bless you. Have a blessed day.